All right, let's get right into it. When it comes to business disruption, it's really not a question of if it's going to happen, but when. From supply chain meltdowns to crazy market shifts, every single organization is going to face a crisis at some point. But what if we stopped seeing these moments as just something to survive? What if we saw them as these incredible opportunities to completely transform and actually leap ahead of the competition? So, this is the big question, isn't it? It really boils down to a choice. When that disruption hits, are you just aiming to get back to normal, to how things were? Or are you going to use that chaos as a catalyst to come out the other side stronger, smarter, and way more capable than you were before? So let's unpack the big idea here, this forward-thinking approach. It's something we call the resilient rebound. And honestly, it's a super powerful way to think about navigating pretty much any crisis. So what in the world is a resilient rebound? Well, it's definitely not just about getting back on your feet. It's about recovering with more strength, more knowledge, and brand new capabilities. It's all about taking those tough lessons you learn in a crisis and turning them into real-world advantages that protect you in the future.
And here's where you can really see the difference. A simple recovery, well, that's all about looking in the rearview mirror, just trying to get back to the way things were. But a resilient rebound, that's about looking forward. It uses the crisis as a launchpad for something new. One path takes you back to where you started, the other launches you into a much stronger future.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? The whole framework breaks down into 3 phases. Let's start with the first one, triage and assess. I want you to think of it like a hospital ER. When a patient comes in, the first thing you do is figure out the full scope of the problem before you even think about treatment. Same idea here. And this process has 2 super clear steps. First up, you've got to do a comprehensive damage assessment. And you need to be brutally honest here. Get a full picture of how bad things are, from the financial hit all the way to team morale. Only after you've done that can you move on to step 2, figuring out the most critical areas to fix and prioritizing where you put your energy. So, where do you even start with that assessment? Will you focus on 4 critical areas? For your operations, you have to ask, what parts of our business that make money are actually hit? For your customers, who are our key partners we need to talk to, like right now? For suppliers, where are the weak links in our supply chain? And for technology, what essential systems are at risk? Answering these gives you a clear roadmap for what to do next. Once you've got that roadmap, it's time for phase 2, stabilize and mobilize. This is all about taking action, fast, decisive action, to stop the bleeding, regain control, and start building some positive momentum. The name of the game here is quick wins. First, you mobilize everything you've got, money, people, tech, and you point it all at your biggest problems. Second, you have to communicate. Be clear, be honest, and be frequent. And third, you have to actively engage everyone involved, your employees, your customers, your suppliers. Getting them on your side is absolutely critical. Now, none of this just happens on its own. It needs strong, adaptive leadership. It is the absolute cornerstone of this whole thing. Leaders have to be able to make tough calls on the fly, but also show real empathy and rally their teams to get the plan done with a sense of purpose. All right, let's talk about the final phase. This is what really separates just getting by from a true resilient rebound. Phase 3 is called FORTIFY for Tomorrow. This is where you take everything you learned from the crisis and you build it into the DNA of your organization for the long haul. So how do you fortify? Well, there are 3 key strategies. First, you build in redundancy. Think backup suppliers or having employees cross-trained for different roles. Second, you build flexibility into how you operate, so you can pivot on a dime next time something happens. And this last one is so important. You have to nurture psychological resilience. Supporting your team's mental well-being isn't just a nice thing to do, it's a strategic move that makes you stronger. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at a classic example, how the retailer Target handled that massive data breach a few years back, where millions of customer accounts were compromised. Let's just walk through this timeline, and you'll see the framework pop right out. First, you have the breach. That's the crisis. Target's immediate response was pure triage and assess. They were incredibly transparent about what happened. Then they shifted into stabilize and mobilize with a huge security overhaul and tons of customer support. And finally, they fortified for the future by investing in new security tech and working for years to rebuild that customer trust. They actually came out of it with a stronger reputation for security than before.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? The whole idea of the resilient rebound is to completely reframe what a crisis is. It's not just some terrible thing you have to get through, it's a genuine opportunity to fundamentally change your organization for the better.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Every company, every organization learns something from a crisis. The real question is, are you just remembering that lesson, or are you actually building a system to apply it? Are you truly ready not just to bounce back, but to rebound forward?